Johnny.
Yeah.
And one part of it, he says, "I don't want to get my bins wet,
Mm-hmm.
but that's how good that A is."
Yeah, he don't want his seats wet. Right.
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 Look. Then he goes in there. If that's not degrading the women, he even continues. But what the point of the whole thing is that we got young ladies in the club bumping to this,
Right.
dancing, jamming,
Right.
say, "Hey, that's my song,"
Right. Mm-hmm.
and it's degrading you, and it's giving African American males a way to approach you that is degrading as well.
Right. My
You know?
my analysis about it is, and because I've been thinking about this, we've been talking about this a little bit, and I just been thinking about it
Mm-hmm.
and just really pondering on it. It's just like when we were coming up in our generation, it was like you did whatever you had to do to get at a woman. You felt like you had to impress a woman, you know, especially from day one. You had to give her flowers. You had to
Right.
call her. You
Right.
had to just let her know that you were really
You got to take her out,
right,
and that you know that women were really looking at you to marry.
right,
To marry, are you going to be able to take care of the kids?
right,
And you thought about things for the future.
right. I used to think, it's expensive to even have a female because you know you were doing everything, buying her purses, taking her to lunch and dinner, and just really trying to do anything to impress her.
Right.
You might not even consummate or you had a sexual relationship to like maybe a month or two down the road.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then once you had that, you really cherished that. You know, you called her back or whatever like that because she made you wait.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you play that cat and mouse kind of chase game. Nowadays, because of the rap generation, it seems like they're almost promoting like they're doing the women a favor.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like you should be happy. You should be happy to even have a chance to even be with me. Is the way that the men are portraying
one of the songs, one of the lines in this J. Cole song, "Can't Get Enough," is she said, "You got all these women and a couple of hoes and a mistress on the side." Now, what does this do to our younger people who are listening to this?
Right.
Making this type of relationship acceptable.
Right.
Where now they're only looking for the men who have these type of flanderers. They're not even looking for good men.
Sure.
Because you got rappers glorifying the guy who is actually a sexual predator.
Right.
These are the things sexual predators
Whoa.
do. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, you hit me with that right there, but I mean, I can see some truth.
Well, we
I
can
see
bring
some
up the
truth into
lyrics
that.
and analyze it. I'm telling you
Right.
the words on there, but these are the things that sexual predators think about.
Right.
You know,
right.
about how good your butt is. You know, that kind of stuff. You know, all this ties in with how African American males portray African American females. And my point is, whenever you hear this type of music, tell them to turn it off. Especially if you got young kids around listening to it, because it is putting things on their mind.
Right, right.
It is making things that are not socially acceptable in our neighborhood.
Well, can't get enough. I mean, it's climbing up the charts, but that's not even his big pop hit. He has another pop hit where he talks about the one night stand.
Right.
And he actually tells the girl in the song, "Don't expect us to be nothing more than a one night stand, because I'm really only here for one night. And after tonight, you know, I'm gonna hit it, and then I'm gonna be out of here. And I just want I want you to understand that. You know what I'm saying? So all through the song, he's really rapping to the girl. Listen, I want you to understand this is gonna be a one night. And I was like, okay.
Now,
how would the video look like? And I went back and I watched the video. Now this is a light skinned brother. He went and got a dark sister for the video.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And she's sitting there smiling the whole time while he telling her, look, this is gonna be a one night stand.
Just
give it up. You know what I'm saying? Don't expect nothing else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We ain't getting married. We ain't doing that. Look,
right.
That's the wrong message to send to the African.
But you know what? Now
kids.
I'm thinking about it. Looking at videos, I don't know one video that I seen where they took somebody from a different race and actually said those type of lyrics to.
Right.
It's just mainly our African American women, and not only that, maybe the darker women are the ones being chose to play these roles.
Well, Johnny, there is bad in all music, especially rock and roll.
Right. But what I'm saying is what our
sexual connotations to it. But it seems like that hip hop goes out of its way to promote the promiscuous or the uncalled for,
right.
in our communities.
Right.
And what's even more important is you forget that you may know that 15 and 16-year-olds are listening to this, but what's important
younger
is
than that
8 and 9-year-olds are too.
Right. Because T-Pain got that new song talking about, I'm horny.
Right.
And, I think I said I sung one little portion of it yesterday in my kitchen, because it's a catchy tune.
Right.
My son took it away and just started singing the rest of it.
He just hit it.
Like,
wow.
boom.
I'm like, boy, what you know about
5 o'clock in the morning. We talked about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And you know that and I think I said, I was sweeping the floor. I said, 5 o'clock in the morning. And he took it right from there and sung the rest of the song. Because it's catchy. Anytime you have a catchy tune, a catchy commercial, whatever, you're gonna sing it in your head over and over and over.
Not only catchy, it's also who is listening to it around you. If it's people that you look up to and impress, your older peer group, or let's say your older brothers and sisters are on that.
Right.
The high school boys who you really like know down the street, they on that. Then that's going to impress upon your mind. That's the
Everybody's
thing to do.
On it.
But look, it hit me cold when I heard some 9-year-old girls singing "Man Down." Look, man down, mama, I had to shoot him down. Look, I'm like, oh my God.
The girls love that song, yeah.
And it's a song about rape. Is that the message we want our African American females to have of African American males? That's what we want them to view our males as? There's somebody who might come in and possibly rape them, and they've got to shoot them down? This is the kind of stuff that breaks up our communities.
Right.
Now, how do you think this same guy is in the J. Cole song said, I want a one-night stand? Okay, don't forget this. And out of that one-night stand, he has a baby with this woman. And she comes back and say, hey, you need to help with this baby and pay child support.
Right.
What do you think the relationship that this guy is going to have with that baby?
It ain't mine. That's why you got the Maury Povich show. Yeah. because it's reality. We could talk about it. We can joke about it on record, but it's the reality of it. When the average person, me and you, try to do those same things, then we have the kids.
Right.
Then what? We don't have the millions of dollars the rappers have, so we can just throw. So we could just throw a few $1,000s back at a lady. We don't have that type of money, so we're dealing with reality right now.
Yeah.
We listen to the music, okay, and then we try to emulate it. Then we have the kid or whatever. Then what? We're back to reality. Now I know I've heard of a lot of stories. Too Short being one of them, who came to Peoria, had a child with a young lady, and boom, that's it. So these rappers are actually going town to town, city to city, maybe even picking up 1 or 2 children along the way.
Oh, sure they are. I mean, look at what happened to Eazy-E, one of the baddest rappers out there, killed way before his prime because of HIV. Now, he possibly could have been gay, but I don't know. But it looked like he just had a lot of women like him.
Yeah, a lot of women, right?
Yeah, and
well, that's the lifestyle of an entertainer. I mean, you're a basketball player, whatever. Yeah. You're gonna have women just doing whatever they can to get new kids on the block. They don't have nothing to do with hip hop, but their stories where their bodyguard would come with them, and a mother and daughter be like, "Okay, if you get me a daughter back to New Kids on the Block, then I'll sleep with you."
Wow.
The bodyguard. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you're in that limelight, it's gonna come. It's gonna come to you. So.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, so like I said, it's a two-sided sword.
Well, I think the problems, the point starts, or where we start our fight at is, are we going to accept the type of music that the music industries are letting coming out here to poison our kids? Are we going to say, hey, we want more responsibility in music production? We want you to think about what kind of message you're sending to other people.
I think we live in a society that almost accepts that. They haven't come from the same struggle that we come from.
Right.
They don't know the history. So we allow things like Lady Gaga, who sounds like a transvestite type music. We wouldn't have never listened to that back in the 90s. Oh, that's right. That music sounds like some stripper music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not only that, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it sounds like gay stripper music. But now it's acceptable. So acceptable that it's on the mainstream. It's not just, you don't have to go search for it. They're going to play it to you 10 times a day on the mainstream.
All right. And that's one thing that I have noticed in the young kids that is different. Now, I'm not trying to pass judgment on anybody, but I have noticed that the younger kids are now having issues with their sexuality.
Yes.
In other words, the younger kids I see is, I'm bisexual.
Speak on it.
Even the males too. I'm bisexual. Or I'm gay. I had never heard that before in my age group when I was a child. Why? because it was not socially acceptable.
Right.
So it was not brought out so that people could view that as such. But now it is. So see what we are doing to our society?
Right. We're feeding them issues that they have to digest even before they're mature enough to digest them.
Exactly.
So they're experimenting. So if you have an innocent sleepover with, let's say, 6 white girls,
right?
You know, they're sleeping, they're giggling like it's supposed to be, but then they turn on the radio and they hear a young lady talking about, "Well, I kissed a girl." They may want to experiment with that.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
And that makes that, that makes us, that calls for a need to have more legitimacy, more responsibility in our music production and programming today.
Sure. Definitely. So with that being said, that just gives you a few things that, you know, even kind of think about it.
Right.
And just think about what you listen to and what you put in your ear. We say that here at Harvesting Dreams all the time. What you put in your ear could actually be poisoning you. You know, giving you bad seeds, giving you bad vibes, bad feelings about something. I know if you're doing a drive-by, let's take it back to the 80s and 90s when people did drive-bys.
Right.
What type of music were they listening to? They weren't listening to
they listen to some gangster rap.
They listen to some gangster rap.
Yeah.
Tupac probably one of them.
That's what I did.
Right, exactly. You getting hyped up?
Yeah. You wrap that bandana around your hand. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you ready to go to war.
Right.
That's what he talked about. Let's get ready to go to war. He even talked about if something happened to me, I got soldiers that's going to come back and retaliate. So you better be ready. And that's exactly how it played out.
Yeah.
You know, so he spoke that up and it came into existence.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the little boy the young man who died.
All right, let me read this story here from PJ Star because that's what we're kind of coming. We kind of got off track, but we want to talk about this because it's a story that just has everybody's mind boggling. I don't know what to make of it. Because it just seems like an innocent act that a child would do.
Right.
But let's read the story and then we'll talk about it from there. Peoria man faces charges related to teens beating. In Peoria, and this comes from the PJ Star, a South Peoria man was ordered to held on a $100,000 bond Friday afternoon for withholding information about an incident last week that has left a 16-year-old clinging to life. And we know, this story is old, we know that as yet he's passed away. Willie L. Mason, 61, of 1705 West Cattell, faces a single count of obstructing justice, a felony that carries a maximum of 3 years behind bars. The high bond is due apparently to the critical condition of Jaquil Johns and the fact that more charges could come out of the November 11 incident. A little bit more, Mason, a large man with a weightlifting physique, said little during a brief hearing. His attorney, Christopher McCall, asked Kathleen Gorman for a bond of $20,000, noting that his client only had a few convictions. But the part that we want to take a look at is Mason initially told the police that he went to the house by himself and saw 2 people running out. He said he hit one, but he got away and got into the physical altercation with the other who turned out to be Jaquil. When police interviewed the witness again and talked to the teen who got away, Mason changed his story and said 1 or 2 people went with him. So,
he got charges coming because of that. Now, see, things are going to get deep now. However, I hear they were in an abandoned home that was owned by this man. Now, we all know the law that if you're in somebody's home, they might have the right to put you down. You know, abandoned, I don't know about that, but it's my property. You come inside, you're gonna get put down. You know, especially if you ain't there invited. So that's where the issue was. But the issue seems to surround retaliation. After he found out who was in it, him and some other group went and stomped these young boys together. Now, I heard the grandmother on TV. They said, you know, it was so sad, Johnny. She was talking. She said the little boy, when they took him off life support, this the young man, when they took him off life support, his heart still beat for 22 minutes. He was trying to live. He was trying to live, but the brain was too gone because I guess his skull had been stomped in so bad.
Yeah,
what I hear.
They said his skull was actually stomped in. I don't know. I believe this was a mother, if I read that correctly. Said his skull was cracked like an egg.
Wow.
And you know how you crack an egg, and it comes apart. It's not, it's shattered.
Right.
So, this is a horrible situation. I guess the attorney feels like you have to consider that these youths entered a home and didn't have permission to enter. And you have to consider that the man who was 60 was confronted by the youth. Okay, there is no reason this incident should have happened the way it happened.
Right.
Regardless of someone broken into your house, I don't see where the violence came into play.
Well, and that's the issue we have in the black community. We are so violent toward one another. We see nowadays. Now, there's nothing I can say for this older man stomping a younger man, but a lot of times I see it the other way, where these younger kids think they can bully older people.